And you're welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. It is still iBrand Daybreak. And moving to the focus for this morning, President Bola Tinubu has directed a major slash of travel delegations for all federal government official trips within and outside the country. This was disclosed by the Special Advisor on Media and Publicity to the President, Ajuri Ngelale, on Tuesday during a press briefing at the State House in Abuja. According to the Special Advisor, the directive means a 60% slash across board and affects all MDAs, including the Office of the Vice President, the President, and the First Lady. Ngelale explained that the Office of the First Lady and that of the wife of the Vice President is now limited to 10 staff on official trips within the country. The Vice President will be limited to 15 members of staff on official trips within the country, while the presidential spokesperson also said ministers are now limited to 4 persons for foreign trips, while heads of agencies can only travel with 2 persons. The President has further instructed that the primary protection for his travels within the country will be handled by the security apparatus of the respective states. To have this conversation with us is Prince Adebola Adeniji Adele. He is the President General Citizens Liberation Advocacy Initiative. Good morning, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me this morning, and Happy New Year.
All right, Happy New Year to you too. Let's start off this way. Sometime last year, the presidency came under a lot of fire as regarding the presidential entourage, the motorcade, and the number of persons that participated, or should I say traveled with the presidency on several occasions outside Nigeria. It raised a lot of dust. But then we're seeing the president's reacting or acting towards that and cutting down on travel expenses and all that. Let us get your reaction to this new initiative by the presidency.
Well, this will be the first times in the history of this country that we are going to hear this. It has been for a very long time they have been using that. But I'm wondering, why now that the mentions of removing some certain percentage on the trips? Because I know when the president came to Lagos, just of recent, I was on the road seeing it physically. When I begin to count no less than 300 entourage that follow him. And people were shouting, please, we are hungry. Maybe that one was prompting, but I don't know. Paul, is easy said and done by giving us what we feel that's supposed to happen, and we are hearing it that this is the way it's supposed to be. But I'm just praying for them to have the political will to do it. They have not gone to any trips. Before we can confirm what they are saying now, it is true. Have they reduced it or they have not yet reduced it? Because the one they did last, I was amazed. I was not happy at all. By when things is like this, they will fire those guys. The people also will collect money for whatever. And there are some other people who are just following Mr. President for not just following his sake. Probably they wanted to get something out of it, or they wanted him to see him for what the appointment they have been looking for. So make them to be additional, putting those vehicles to the entourage. So, but if they can be able to do it and they can use the political will to do it, I think we are in the fine direction.
All right, I really appreciate your point, especially with the fact that you established your mindset that you were disappointed when he visited Lagos, saying in your own narrative that you saw about 300 convoy, and looking at what the fuel cost right now is, an average car would cost nothing less than 40 to 50,000 if you have to fuel that car, let alone multiplying it by 300 in your words. And that in itself is an unnecessary waste. And just opposing it to what you've been earlier saying before now, that you believe President Bola Tinubu is such a man that has the interest of the people at heart. So you were always telling us to give him time. And obviously this has been about 6 to 7 months down the line. There hasn't been any significant change. Now you are saying again that you believe they are going to match words with action, because it might just be mere rhetoric from your own analysis that this might just be mere political pronouncement, but you're yet to see implementation. Do you actually think that a Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who has never cared about reducing the cost of governance, will now be able to implement this?
Well, I've not changed my words, neither retreat my statement by saying that we should still give them time. We have seen some people who have scandalous using 8 years, wasted, and this is just merely 7 months. So I'm still saying it, let us watch them. But what I'm adding to it is God Almighty to give them that strength of that political will. You understand? So he said, and it's better easy said than done.
You need God to give you the political will?
No, it is guidance. You see, it is when God guides him that these statements he made and that people are still commending for it. This is a very good one. And he did not do it to himself alone, either to the president and to, but they still want him to go directly to the National Assembly too. So if he can go around to botless lines of the local government, we could have been better. So if we have seen that Mr. President is going somewhere, the security we have at the federal is also at Enugu. The security we have at Abuja is still in Lagos too. So why leaving people or bringing people from Abuja also coming to Lagos? It's ridiculous. So if they can be able to wake up from whatever reasoning they see that, okay, it is good, which means the military or the security agencies we have working together for the same goal. It means that Abuja, stay at Abuja, people in Lagos will receive me. I think that is one of the best things. And at the end of the day, let us see how much has been accumulated. If they started reducing this 60% and likewise the 10% they are saying that they should give to the vice president or whatever, let us see how much it is accumulated so that we know how to praise them. So if you do not know how much he has been elected out of it, that okay, this 3 months, our entourage, this is a month of money that is supposed to have been before, this is how much it is, and it goes to so place.
Do you think they will be open enough to give that information?
That is where we are coming in. See, I've seen some people who have called us as our NGO that lets us work together to see this thing keenly. Whatever one naira they spend, we should I say it where it goes. So that's what I'm telling you now, that we want the Mr. President to be open to Nigerians and be open enough that this is a clean man. This is my hand. That the money we remove from these trips we said we have reduced, this is what we use the money for.
Let me recall again, because you are also in the country, so you understand when it comes to accountability. That's what you're trying to paint here.
Yes.
The same government who told us that they were going to save a lot from fuel subsidy is the same money they were using to buy SUV. True or false? True or false?
Well,
no, just answer the question. True or false?
Mr. George, they have been playing that.
So you expect the same government to tell you this is what they saved from reducing the level of their convoy to telling you where they are going to put the money?
We should not.
Now, are you also aware? Are you also aware? Are you also aware? No, I'm just painting the obvious. Are you also aware that a lot of persons out there say that is this not a subtle distraction from the obvious matter? Already his government have been perceived to be no difference from that of Buhari because of the level of corruption we're seeing, especially from his minister. Is this not a distraction?
Well, we should not preempt that. What I want us to look at, as you said earlier, is that the money removed from subsidy, I don't think is the one they used to buy the FVR for this. So
where did they get it from?
In fact, they have been talking about that vehicle before the subsidies removal. See, it is the time for us Nigerians. Now I told you that you are going to come and help us to open it. We are opening the office of the citizens very soon. That is where you will know that the citizens probably sometimes is powerful than the people in the government. See, we wanted to know. Those are the questions we are gathering together to state them. Immediately they are led trip to 1 year. We will now ask them. It's a matter of fact that we are still in this country, as you said now. You are making me to understand that these things has happened before, and we have not seen the accountability of it. This is another one. is not, should be a distraction to what is on the ground. What I'm saying now is that they have said it, that this is what they wanted to do, and we are following them. They have removed subsidy almost 5 months now. Then they have...
What impact?
So...
What impact?
We are going to ask them. They are keeping money somewhere, as what the information we gathered, that they are keeping some money somewhere. And in as much they wanted to do part of major road we have in this country, that they said they have been devastated, and it should be entered into all the states, all the 36 states. They are going, very soon they are going to start that, what we heard. But what I'm still saying now is that as they are giving us this important information by saying that this will have, this our government, we are going to reduce, it's not happened before, and they have made it. And as I said earlier, that is very easier said than done. That if God did not give them the political will to do it, it's very difficult. But we, the citizens, are now asking now that in the few days we are going to ask how the money was kept and what is the money for. What are they using it for? Because you cannot remove last 60% out of the Entourage's money you are talking about for trips, and we would not see it. But at the end of the day, at the time you wanted to even use or travel again, I see the same thing. So it means that you just use the word for captioning.
The President Bola Tinubu-led administration is 4 months away from being a year old in office. And you are saying we should wait till they are a year old before we start asking these questions. What is the difference between 4 months away and a year old already? If we aren't at this point, impact of the subsidy removal and several other policies that have in several ways devastated the economic situation of this country, now that we're 4 months away, what makes you think that 4 months is a good enough frame of time to make the changes that we require to give us, yes, the hope that we so greatly look up to? You think 4 months is enough space of time for them to eventually, all of a sudden, achieve everything? Yeah, you think that's feasible?
My sister, I want us to realize something this morning. Those elected now will have the mandate of 4 years. Let that one be at the left-hand side of ourselves. The people that elected now have the mandate of 4 years. And out of the 4 years they wanted to get out from that office, they have just spent just 7 months. So I will beg Nigerians this morning, and this is a new year, to make us to see the difference between the 7 months, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, and they can get to leave the office of the 4 years. See, what we are looking at is that probably the difficulty might come up. Nobody can doubt that. But in as much that we still have a serious lot of time, of year to spend, means that the 7 months we are talking about today might not have meaning as much as when we are getting to a year. And it's very credible to say that this is a year, this is 2 years. What have they done on the table?
Okay, you just mentioned something. You didn't quote him verbatim, but you have just mentioned the word that the president has consistently continued to use for every time he has addressed the nation since he became president. He would always mention how that he understands that Nigerians are going through a lot, that the difficulty might come, but we will eventually surmount it. 4 months into 1 year. Till today, we still do not know or have any blueprints, any plans, laid down plans on how this government intends to carry out the leadership that we have vested into their palms. And you're repeating what he says always, that in as much as the difficulty, if you're telling me that the difficulty would persist, but you're giving me a timeline, you're giving me a business plan, you're giving me a time frame, you're giving me a blueprint, then I might see that we are walking through it and we are making progress. No blueprint, no time frame, no timeline. And everybody's supposed to just sit back and hope that a miracle would happen. No. Sorry, sir, let me finish. And we keep saying, God help us, God give us. excuse me, please. God gave us brains. And that is on the purpose, for the sole purpose of solving issues and you know, surmounting challenges. If we have so obviously decided to not use those brains, then we'll continue to suffer, because it is only, I don't want to use a brash word, but we cannot continue doing the same thing over and over and expect a change. With your last submission and everything I have just said now, you think if we don't see any little changes in these past 8 months, that we're going to start seeing it after 2 years, not to talk of 4 years?
As you said, I would disagree a part or a little from what you just mentioned. You see, if you are thinking that it is Tinubu that's going to do it all, we are giving lies to ourselves. It's just a personal thought of many. That's why he has ministers.
That's why I said, where is the blueprint?
So the ministers,
have a conversation
are supposed to
with your ministers and tell us.
I'm coming. That ministers that you put there, I think there are 43 or 44. Those ministers are supposed to be commendable or recommendable for, or put more to what he's doing. See, when something good, I, as a person, I will appreciate it. And I've seen some people who has been doing it. Look at this Olubumi Ojo. No matter what happened, the passport has been lingered for so many years in the hands of one department, that the one you applied for, it took you for over 1 year, 1.5 years before you can get your passport. By now, in March this year, they will bring it down to your home. So some people are. The same
person who has been fingered to be in his country.
See, that is different. You know,
that is different.
He has made
corruption is different.
He has made a blueprint before this corruption we are talking about today.
You should still remain there.
We should not throw the bad water with the bad water, with the baby. Sorry, we should not throw the baby with the bad water. Whatever happened, he has been working. And we have not seen that things like this happen. It is now we are seeing that he have registered a company before.
Corruption is not an issue to you.
Tolerated.
No. I'm not saying that.
Embezzlement is not an issue to you.
See, what if his hand is in that? I think the punishment is for it. I'm not saying that they should not punish that. And I will not be here or stand here or stay here or talking to you this morning or to Nigerians and said I accepted corruption in the government. No. So, but what we are saying now is that when do something good, let's appreciate that.
All right. It is an unfolding story. More names, I believe, would actually come up, and of course, as it unfolds, we'll bring you all the updates. I'm hoping that everybody who is involved in this corruption scandal gets what is coming to them, Tunji Ojo inclusive, and everybody. Of course, after investigations have been properly and duly conducted. Thank you so much, Prince, for coming on the show today. We appreciate your time.
Thank you very much. I think we are here to make Nigeria to see what is going on.
iBrand Day Break. We'll bring you the details after this break. Stay with us.